Alright, so we got some more area diagrams here. So we want to find the area of each part and find the area of the whole using the area as a product and the area as a sum. Show our work. So if this is what our rectangle looks like, then we know that this is going to be 130. We just do 13 times 10. And this one, 13 times 5, is going to be 65. So this is just kind of review. So remember, our area as a product means we're going to be multiplying the end. So we want to do our 13 times the entire bottom, which will be 10 plus 5. 10 plus 5 is going to be 15, and then I multiply 13 times 15 together to get 195. Our area as a sum means we're adding the two smaller areas together. So we're going to do 130 plus 65 to get 195. So now we're going to take a look at this bottom one here, but it looks a little bit different. Right? Now instead of that 10, we have an x there. So let's figure out how to do this. But we're going to do the same exact steps. So we want to take 13 times x, which is just 13x, and 13 times 5, which is going to be obviously still 65 since the other one was. Our area as a product, we're going to write it as 13 times x plus 5. And our area as a sum, we're going to add those two things together, 13x plus 65. And that's as far as we can take those, because now with the variable, we can't combine those and get one number. All right, so we're going to take this information and move on to that next slide, or next page. So here we want to say the area expressions in part A and B of the last problem both represent the area of the same rectangle. Okay? Do we expect those areas to be the same? And we would say, of course, right? Because when we're talking about the area of the apartments, the apartment doesn't change depending on how we take the measure of. So we would expect those to be the same. So we can say that the area as a product, which was our 13 times x plus 5, is equal to the area as a sum that we found, 13x plus 65. All right, so what property did we just prove? Or what property does that show? And this is the distributive property. Right? Because if I distribute 13 to the x and the 5, then we end up getting 13x and 65. So this is just right now a fancy way to do the distributive property. All right, so we're going to take a couple of these. We're going to start with the areas of product, and we're going to go all the way to areas of sum. So we want to set them up correctly. So if I have 3x plus 2, we'll put our 3 there, and then our x, and then our plus 2 over here. Remember, we split those monomials up. So then in this box, 3 times x, we get 3x, and 3 times 2, we get 6. So then my area is a sum, 3x plus 6. All right, just go pause the video, try that next one on your own. All right, our negative 2 goes here, 4x plus 9. Negative 2 times 4x, we multiply those two to get negative 8x. And negative 2 times 9, multiply those to get negative 18. So our answer, negative 8x minus 18. All right, so for this, we're going to go backwards. So we're going to start with areas of sum, and we're going to get areas of product. So same exact thing we did before, only we're going to reverse that process. So we take our areas of sum, and we split them up into the two boxes here. So 5x goes down there, and negative 15 goes down there. And then this is where we kind of have to do pulling out that greatest common factor, or pulling out what goes into both of them. So thinking about what can I take out of a 5x and a negative 15? Oh, that's a 5. And when I do take out a 5 from both of these things, what's left? So 5 times what number gives me 5x. And hopefully you're thinking there that's going to be an x, right? Because 5 times x gives me 5x. And then think to yourself, 5 times what number gives me a negative 15 here? And that would be a negative 3. All right? Or just use your calculator to do negative 15 divided by 5. So my area as a product is then going to be 5 times x minus 3. So for this, we're kind of undistributing. We're taking out what's in both of them. All right, next one. So we can just write it down. There we go. So we split up the two parts. Now what can go into both of those things? What's my greatest common factor that I can take out? Answer here is going to be 10. Notice there are other factors you can take out, right? You can take out a 2 or a 5. But we always want to try and take out our common factor that we can. So 10 times what gives me 10x, be x. And 10 times what gives me 30, a positive 30, that'll be 3. So my area as a product, 10 times x plus 3. And really all we're doing here is taking out that greatest common factor. All right, just go ahead and pause the video, try this last one on your own. All right, so we do have negative 6 times x plus 3 here. Since they're both negative numbers, it's easy and it's pretty nice to take out that negative 6 instead of just taking out a 6 for that. If you did just take out a 6, though, that'd be okay. Although you might have issues with doing that in Schoology for the learning targets. All right, so same thing here. We're just filling in the boxes, and then we're going to write as areas of product and areas of sum. Notice part B, though, we get to a more complicated looking box, but we should be able to do it. So this first one, same difference, just fill in the box and write our answers down. So 20 times 32, I want to multiply those, so that's going to give us 640. And then 20 times 13, that's going to give me 260. So my area as a product, once again, it's just the 20 that's on the side times the whole bottom added together, 32 plus 13. Then I can do 20, and I can add those numbers to make 45. And then once again, multiply that out to get 900 as my answer. Or my areas of sum would be just taking the inside of the boxes and adding them together. So 640 plus 260. When I do that, I also get 900. All right, so now that we have a bigger box, we're going to do the exact same steps, so nothing changes yet. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find the inside of all of the boxes. So we'll start in the top left. If I do 15 times 11, that's going to be 165. If I do 15 times 3, right, I want to do 15 times 3. Because remember with this box, we do know that if this is 9 right here, then we know that this part is 9 as well. Right? We know that this is going to be 15. We know this is going to be 3. We know this is going to be 11, and so on. So for this, if I'm trying to find this box right here, I do know that this is going to be 15 right from here, and I do know this is going to be 3 from right there. So 15 times 3 is going to give me an answer of 45. Bottom left, 9 times 11, 99. And bottom right, 9 times 3, 27. So area as a product, same thing, right? We took the left side times the bottom. So we took 20 times the bottom, 32 plus 13. So the bottom steps aren't changing at all, right? That's still 11 plus 3. But the top now, the side, isn't just a number. It's not just 20. We now have to find that entire side as well, the same way we find the entire side down there. So 11 plus 3 is the bottom here. 15 plus 9. Is my left side. So when I add those two numbers, you get 24. When I add these two numbers, you get 14. And that gives us an answer of 336. My areas of sum, right, we just added the two boxes. We're just going to add all four boxes now. So 165 plus 45 plus 99 plus 27. And when I add all those numbers together, we get 336 as well. So last thing for today then is just to figure out these boxes. See if you can come up with all the numbers that are supposed to be on the side, the bottom, inside the boxes, and then go ahead and write that as product, areas of product, and areas of sum. So for this first one with some pieces missing, we just have to logically think about them to get them to figure them out. Kind of like a puzzle once again. So if I'm trying to find this number here, I know that I have to do this times this to get 12. And we know this is a 4. So what 4 times what equals 12? That has to be a 3. So we know a 3 has to go there. So 4 times 11 to figure out that one is going to be 44. And then to figure out this right here, we're going to use our knowledge of this 3 that we just found. Right? So if that's 3, then I need to know 3 times what number is going to give me 39. And once again, if you don't know this, just take out your calculator and do 39 divided by 3, and we get an answer of 13. So we know that's going to be 13. And then now that I know that's 13, we can find the inside of this box, 13 times 11. And then we can write down 143 for 13 times 11. Now writing it as a product of the sum, go ahead and pause the video, see if you can do this on your own. Alright, so our answer here is 238 for this, but remember our area is a product. We do the side times the bottom, so 11 plus 3 times 4 plus 13. And then for the areas of sum, we're going to add up all the boxes in the middle. Alright, D, once again, pause the video, try this one on your own, see if you can do the entire problem, and then when you resume the video, you will see the answer. Alright, so once again there you can see the numbers. I started right here, right? If I know this is 8 and I know this is 40, then I can find 5. From there I was able to find this number, find that number, and then finally I was able to find that. Then we should get 112 as our answer. Alright, we'll spend one more day on these area diagrams, and then we will get into factoring. And you'll see how the X that we started with, as well as all these boxes, are going to make it really nice and easy to start factoring quadratics.